I just love that. Tough and tender. Welcome to Tough and Tender. I'm your host, Ric Drasin, and my co-host, Inna Tuler here. It's like he said, she said, and we have some things that we have to debate about relationships and how to handle certain situations. And I have my point of view, and Inna has her point of view, and hopefully we'll meet along the way, and it'll be the same thing.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's hopefully.
We can't always agree. It wouldn't be interesting.
We agree even when we disagree.
We agree to disagree.
Exactly.
We disagree to agree. So we're going to start with some questions, and then these are sent in to us, and you can certainly send in your questions as well. And we'll give the best answers possible out of our own brain, what we think should happen, right?
Yeah. Do I read this?
Can you read that?
Okay.
It's in English.
It is.
Okay.
Let's try that.
All right.
My Gia.
Girlfriend.
I know. My girlfriend is wonderful. We have a wonderful life. She's amazing. If I change the schedule, though, she flips out. What do I do?
Well, how wonderful can it be? She flips out.
Well, only when he's changed the schedule, so I guess that comes as a surprise, and she's not used to it.
Well, here's the thing, because when I met you, you had a schedule, and you schedule in advance everything because you run a big corporation. So
I still have a schedule.
And you still have a schedule, and you continue to have a schedule because that's the way you run your life. And so when you would ask me to be somewhere at a certain time, you expected me to be there right on the time. And I remember our first date, you said to me, it's 7 o'clock. And so I was there at 6:57, and so you said, what are you doing, driving around the block for 3 minutes? Do you remember that?
I do.
I did, and I did drive around for 3 minutes because I wanted to be right on time.
Well, that's better than being late.
I had been late, though.
Yeah, you have been.
Yeah, and so have you.
Yes.
More so lately.
No, not necessarily, but it's okay.
Yeah, okay, so it's okay. So if you change the schedule, I mean, sometimes things change, and you have to change them. I don't see why there's a problem with him changing a schedule on her.
Well, it depends what does it mean. I mean, if they have something planned out, let's say they planned on Sunday, and they said, okay, we're going to go to the gym in the morning, then we're going to go eat, then we're going to go movies, then we're going to go dinner.
Are you talking about us?
We're talking about a normal Sunday couple.
Okay.
And then it suddenly goes, well, I don't want to go to the movies, so I just want to go to bed and sleep. And then she's going to go, wait a second, but we had a plan. So it kind of changes the energy, okay? And I can see her getting upset.
Yeah, but what if he doesn't feel good? He doesn't feel like going to the movies.
Well, that's the whole thing. So how do we make her change? How do we explain it to her? So it's either have to come with the explanation, a good reason.
Yep.
Maybe another choice, or maybe I'll go, rest and feel better, and then we'll go to movies. Maybe we can just change the schedule. I mean, maybe a couple of different options will make it better, and will get her not flip out, ease into it. Yeah.
Without being hostile about it.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
There's always negotiations.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Oh, I hate my hair. I want to cut it, and my boyfriend doesn't want me to. How do I get him to change?
All right, I have an answer, but go ahead.
Well, one thing is like we can't get anybody to change. You can't change anybody.
No.
Unless they want to change. So we can't really get him to change, but we can explain and like I said, negotiate and compromise and kind of convince him elsewhere. You can't change him.
There are some women who look really good in short hair, and there's a lot of them who don't.
A matter of taste.
It's a matter of taste, exactly. My personal preference is long hair.
Okay.
And I don't really find short hair to give me the arousal that I would like from long hair.
Well, then maybe in this case, she can cut it a little shorter and see how he accepts it. And then if he likes it, then she can cut it a little shorter, and then, you kind of gradually get him to that, to accept the short hair. You don't want to just
whack it all off at once and then wait like a year and a half for it to grow back.
Yeah, he's going to go like, I don't know who you are,
It's just like when I shaved my head, I got rid of my hair, it was a completely different look.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it was a better look.
Well, for you, but some people, it took them some time to adjust to it and get used to it. And who are you? I mean, they used to see you in different ways.
That's true. People who met me with my head shaved went back and saw pictures of me with hair and say, oh no, you look much better with your head shaved. People who knew me with my hair and saw it bald said, why did you do that? Because I wanted to change
any
it.
drastic changes make people wonder.
Yeah.
And there's always a comparison. Did she look good in the blonde versus the brunette? And is it with the beard, without the beard, and stuff like that. So I guess gradually, especially in a couple in a relationship, it's not like it's a public on TV and stuff, and people can say whatever they want. But in a relationship, you can probably want to gradually get used to that new look.
Yeah, I mean, you're in this world one time. It's okay to make changes. You know, that's how you find out what you
welcome.
like. Yeah, changes are welcome.
Changes are welcome. Good
so,
changes.
you know, if you want to cut your hair, cut it, and you know, he'll get used to it until it grows out again. That's all I can say.
You know, or you know, get the consequences.
Exactly, the consequences, right? No dinner on the table or nothing else after dinner.
No sex.
No sex. I'll say that. No sex. All right, number 3.
Oh, my husband is a warrior. Works all weekend, all week.
And
Occasionally, I want him to go out during the week. How do I get him to do that?
First of all, is her husband a worrier or a warrior?
A warrior?
A warrior? Does he worry? No, he's a warrior.
He goes to war?
He goes to war. He's a habitual worker, and so he works through all the weekends, obviously.
Oh, okay.
And so she's trying to get him to loosen up and go out during the week and do something different, and he wants to work all the time.
But is he going to go out on the weekend at least, or he just works?
I think he works on the weekends.
On the weekends too?
That's what she said. He's a weekend warrior.
Oh boy.
So he's got to find time during the week. But the thing is, and you and I talked about this, you can go out during the week, but if it's the next day's a work day, you don't want to stay out late. It's too hard.
Got to be a different kind of, you know, going out.
It's got to be a different type of going out.
It's like an early senior dinner.
But
you eat at 5 o'clock.
You eat at 5 o'clock. But we had talked about relationships and keeping the spark going and dating.
Yep.
You know, you don't let it go stagnant. You don't want to go cold. You don't go out at all. You've got to have that date with your spouse. You got to go out and do something different.
Absolutely.
If it happens to be during the week, fine. If it happens to be on the weekend, fine.
Set a date. Set a day. Set a time.
Yeah.
Set a day in the week and make a date out of it.
Exactly. You have 7 days in the week. They can, after you're out of high school and college, and every day's the same. You know, to me, every day's the same. It's always a work day or something to do, but you can pick any day and take time off. I mean, you have a rigid schedule, but you always make time to take time off and do something.
I have a rigid schedule on my work, but
right.
when it comes to personal, I don't mind to be instantaneous and go out on a Wednesday versus a Friday or Saturday, and things change. It's not always, oh, we always meet for coffee on Tuesday until look alike. Well, no, sometimes we do it in Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
You know, so things change, and but think about 20 years ago, before they got married, when they were dating, any couple.
Yeah.
They date, they go, there is no date, there is no certain schedule. I mean, whenever they feel like seeing each other, whenever they feel like meeting each other, they do it.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So why suddenly it has to change?
That's true.
It shouldn't.
It can ruin it.
Exactly. I mean, it shouldn't change.
Okay,
just keep the same regimen.
This is a good one. Can I read this one?
Go for it.
My wife is very uptight in bed, so how do I get her to loosen up?
How do you do that?
A little wine, maybe a little sedation of some sort, a mask, a gag, I'm not sure. Well, I think, you know, I think
why?
I think it's up to two people, and if his wife is not loosening up in bed, he's doing something wrong.
But did he talk to her? Do you think that's
He
a good
didn't say if he
conversation?
talked to her. I think he needs to be
I think you need two to tango.
Yeah, that's right. It's got to be the balance. It's got to be the chemistry. It's got to be romantic leading up to it. It just, you know, maybe he's just saying, "Here's $20, go lay down in bed." You know.
Yeah, it's like you better loosen up.
Yeah, loosen up. No, that's going to make it even worse.
It's not going to work.
That's going to make it even worse. So I think there's got to be a communication thing and talk about what the problem is, because maybe there is a really deep-rooted problem in the back of her mind where she can't loosen up. It could have been something in her history. It could be anything. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's his breath. Maybe it's his BO. It could be anything.
Yeah, maybe they just need to go to a therapist. Maybe she needs to go by herself. Maybe there's an issue with libido. Maybe there's a different issue she doesn't even know, or he doesn't know.
Right.
I think if they can't solve it by themselves, they need to see a professional.
Yeah, you're probably right. Or see me.
And you're going to show them by example?
I'm going to show them by example.
I see.
All right, you can do number 5.
My friend is always late. How can I change that? Well, if it's at 5 o'clock, tell him to be there at 4:30. He'll be late and be there on time.
There's a lot of people like that. And there's a lot of people who don't even show up and call you.
Well, I guess they don't know that it affects you. So maybe a quick conversation saying, you know, when you're late, it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know if you're going to show up. I don't know. I don't feel secure staying here by myself for half an hour. There's a chain reaction. You late, then somebody else late, then we can't get there on time. Then explain what it creates.
Yeah, I had a friend that you know, and they were always late, an hour, 2 hours, always late, regardless of anything. It was always a later time, and you're sitting there wondering, the whole night's gone, and then it's already 3 hours later.
It's a poor time management.
It's horrible. And so I found out this person was late their entire life. That's just their habit, and you'd better accept it, and that's just the way it is.
But do you really want to accept this?
No, you don't want to accept that.
Okay, so if you can accept it, then live with this and don't complain about it.
Right.
But if you don't want to accept it, try to have a conversation about it.
It's
There's
rude.
some people have it the other way around. I have a friend, and you know who I'm talking about, have no time management, so he's so afraid to be late, he always comes half an hour early.
Yeah.
And what do you do about that?
That's okay.
I don't know.
Early's better than later, and then not to show up at all. But it's got to be something, because we have somebody in our family we're always waiting on, so we always tell him 30 minutes earlier. And then you go to pick him up, and he's still late coming downstairs.
It's a matter of time management, and sometimes some people take classes in time management, how to manage multiple projects, how to manage your time, how to deal with other people, how to deal with difficult people. So it's a skill.
Yes, it is.
It's a skill.
All right, you take number 6.
My girlfriend always forgets her wallet and needs to stop at the bank. How can I get her to change?
We talked about this too, whether or not they're doing you pay, I pay, or we're going to share the bill or whatever. You said maybe she doesn't want to bring any money to share the bill or whatever, but there's a reason why she never has any money on her, why she always has to stop at the bank. There's poor management again.
It's a poor management, forgetting things, not making an effort, or just doesn't want to pay. Maybe she just doesn't want to pay. That's her deal, and the expectation that he's going to pay.
Yeah.
And then she's using the excuse, and see how he reacts. But I don't think it's right. If you have an agreement that you're 50-50, then stay by it. And if she can't keep her word in this, then how can you have a relationship and trust her for something else?
You can't, because you got to keep your word in every rule in the book.
And it's an excuse, and sometimes it's okay. Well, I get that one time I excuse it. Second time you excuse, third time you excuse it. Well, when is the limit?
Well, I think he should say, I don't have any money on me tonight. What are we going to do? I can't stop at the bank, and my wallet's empty. So what do you suggest we do? And throw it back on her for a minute and see what she says.
Well, I think that's a proven recipe for an argument.
Sure it is.
You kind of put her on the spot.
Sure, but
I think a conversation ahead of time
Yeah.
would be better. Honey, did you bring your wallet?
Yeah.
Oh, you bring a wallet? Okay, well, let's swing by and pick it up. What are we going to do? Are you going to, how are we going to manage it next time? When
You're going to like this, because I told you this once before. I had a female friend, and I was supposed to meet her for dinner. And I was joking along, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, is she showing up yet?" And I said, "Well, I sure hope she brings cash, right?" On a text. And I sent it to her by mistake. She said, "Oh, don't worry, I got it covered." I felt like such a fool. I mean, I didn't mean to say that, but it's what it was. We have a tip of the week, and there's several tips on all these things that we discussed right now. But I think the tip of the week in anything that we do with relationship is communication. When you don't communicate and one person talks, the other one listens or doesn't listen or doesn't come back with some sort of rebuttal, then you have an issue. You have to talk things out. You have to come to some sort of an agreement on both parts if both parties are happy. Am I right?
Yes, you have to make sure that the second party actually listens and accepts this.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to hear certain things.
Right.
So just lay out a good environment for a conversation, and a good timing. It's very important when you talk about this, and discuss those things and agree ahead of time what you're going to do. If you can't agree, then it's a problem. But usually you can, and you can be politically correct to.
Well, you know what, timing. Just one more thing I want to say. Give the tip, but one more thing I want to say. Timing is really important. For example, there's things that sometimes you want to talk to me about, and I say not in the gym because I'm training. Wait till after the gym.
Yeah.
Right? So that timing at that point is not good timing.
Well, it's not an appropriate location for that particular subject, but when we have a dinner and we want to talk about stuff.
There you go.
And again, you don't bring up personal issues in front of other people. You talk it one-on-one. You don't want to make a big symposium about an issue. It's between you two. So solve it between your own.
Yeah, pick a time when both of you are open to talk about something, when there's nobody around, where you can sit down and no stress and no distraction, and you can kind of work out your problems and then come to an agreement and stick to that agreement. That's pretty much a good tip.
Yeah, yes, and then from that point, everything is going to get better.
Okay.
And the communication is open.
I totally agree.
I know that.
Well, thank you for watching Tough and Tender with Inna and I. We'll be back next Friday at 1 p.m., right?
Absolutely.
And we'll have
that's a promise.
Well, that's a promise, and we'll have
We're not changing that.
No, we're not changing that either. We'll have some new questions and answers, and be sure and write into us at emPOWERme.tv. If you have anything you want to discuss, we'd love to bring it up. And thank you for watching the show.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Oh, yes.
Hi, I'm Ric Drasin, Tough and Tender. I'm here to answer all your questions on dating, relationships, the good side, the tough side, the tender side. Every Friday, 1 p.m. on emPOWERme.tv. I'd love for you to subscribe. I'll be here. We'll be discussing relationships and dating and all the good, the bad, the pitfalls, and the ugly of it. Stay tuned and watch me next Friday, 1 p.m. emPOWERme.tv. Subscribe now.